I'm excited. We got a very special guest today. We got Robert Lewis, one of our top agents at Matt Curtis Real Estate, to talk to us a little bit about the listing market and what he's seeing for sellers. But before we jump into that, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe below to stay on top of all of the latest Huntsville, Alabama real estate news. All right, so Robert's been on our team for about 4.5 years now, sold hundreds of homes for our clients, and he's on pace to sell about 50 homes this year. Let our audience get to know you a little bit. What do you like to do outside of real estate?
Sure. Well, thanks, Matt. It's good to be here today. Outside of real estate, I like to stay busy. I do a lot of running, mainly the half marathon distance. My wife tells me I need to work my way up to a marathon, so I'm thinking about that. We've got an RV that my family and I would like to take trips. That's a lot of fun. And I do most of the cooking for my family, trying to cook and feed us all healthier meals. So that keeps me pretty busy. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Sounds good. And I know before you joined us, and really still now as well, I think a lot of sellers will appreciate this because you come from kind of the analytics, number side of things.
Yeah.
You do some house and rental investing as well. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Real estate investing got me into this industry 8 years ago, primarily as a house flipper. House flipping, rental houses, wholesaling and renovating houses, that kind of carried me through my first few years of real estate until I started working for Matt Curtis Real Estate as an agent.
And I think the big advantage of that for a seller is that you know the numbers really well. You know them forward and backwards. You have to know that as a real estate investor. And as sellers are looking to interview an agent, that's one of the most important things that they should be interviewing is how well you know the market analysis, and Robert really knows those numbers.
That's correct. Selling your house is a numbers-based process. It takes throughput to sell a house, and so that process is something that we can track, that I can track with the data. It's a valuable skill as a listing agent, and it's something I like to do.
Yeah. So speaking of the numbers, right now we're in Q4. I've got, as of this recording this video, election about to come up. What are you seeing in the marketplace right now?
Sure, right now it takes on average about 45 days to sell a house. What's unique is of all the homes that are for sale right now, only 20% of them are being bought by buyers. So recently only 1 in 5 homes went under contract. Of the homes that did go under contract, they do so on average after 45 days. And on average they do so between the 9th and the 10th showing. So when I'm helping you list your house and it hits the market, the data behind the homes that recently went under contract becomes our goal, which is 1 showing for every 5 days by the averages. So as we're tracking that with other things, if we're getting a showing on average once every 5 days, then I'm going to tell you don't change anything, I'll have your house sold in a few weeks. But if you're not getting showings at that rate, that's where we have to, consider other things.
You said about 1 every 5 homes is selling right now. So is that every single month? About 20% of the market is going in and out of the market?
Correct. Right now, pending sales to total sales is about 20%.
Okay. So that magic number you said is about 9 to 10. So historically, what I've seen is about every 8 showings you should get an offer. It sounds like in this market right now, you're seeing closer to 9 or 10.
That's correct. You used to get an offer with a lower number of showings, but as inventory has increased and buyers have felt less pressure, they've taken more time to relax. They're not settling for less, so they're viewing more homes over a longer period of time to find that perfect house, and that's resulted in the number of showings per contract going up a little bit.
So Robert, you were talking about 9 or 10 showings typically on average to get your offer. So I'm assuming that's more of like an average price home. Is
Correct.
That right? Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about pricing. If you're going to be a more expensive home or even less than the average, you're probably going to be off of those numbers. And so that's why you want to do a listing consultation. That's why you want to call our team. You want to talk to Robert to see the specifics for your area, because every sub-market is different, whether it be the price point and the school district is really what makes up those sub-markets. But how important is pricing right now to get a home sold? Because I know just a few years ago during the COVID season, you could just throw a number against the wall and hope it sticked, and it often would stick. Now what is happening if somebody overprices a home?
Yes, that's a good question. Right now, pricing is more important than it has been for a number of years because the window of opportunity to attract these buyers' attention is smaller than it had been in the past. when only 20% of the homes are being bought by buyers right now. Another interesting stat is that right now, a third of the market has been listed for less than a month. So those 20% of buyers, they're seeing more homes relative to how many buyers they are than they have in the past. So they've got plenty of homes to look at. They've got plenty of choices. And when you're priced too high, those buyers, the 20% of buyers of the new listings, about 40% of those are bought in the first 30 days. And that comes out to about 12% of the market. So in the first month, 12% of the homes are bought, leaving just a few buyers to pick from all the remaining homes out there. So your odds are greatest when your home first hits. But in this market where the number of new homes hitting the market each month is greater than the number of buyers, your listing can easily get lost in the shuffle. And you find yourself on page 5 or 10 of the search results. And as so many homes keep hitting the market on a regular basis, buyers aren't having to scroll down to page 10 to find a home that they like. They can look later that day or the next day, and there will be new homes for them to see.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's really a sweet spot. That first 30 days, you're going to get a lot of activity, and that's really always been the case. It sounds like it's even more of a case right now.
Yes.
Because what I've always explained to people, I know you explained this to our sellers as well, is that, you know, when you first go on the market, there's these buyers sitting on the sideline. They've seen everything that's out there. They don't like the homes that are out there. They're waiting for new inventory to come available. And that's why you get so many more showings those first 30 days. It's like a caravan that comes through your home. But if you're mispriced, then you miss out on that opportunity.
That's correct. And in an environment where the inventory is increasing, that effect is amplified. In years past where the inventory was decreasing, not so much. You could wait the next 30 days or month 3 and 4 and it wouldn't be as bad.
Mm-hmm. So with all this extra inventory that's coming available on the market, we're back to kind of more normal levels, like 2018, 2019 inventory levels, but it's a huge increase from where we've been, and that number continues to go up. So we don't know what inventory level will ultimately hit. So with all this increased inventory that's going on in the marketplace right now, what is that doing with withdrawals and expires? Because I know the last few years it's pretty much been non-existent. What are we seeing in the marketplace right now?
Right now, withdrawn and expired listings are at an all-time high over the past few years. It's a unique circumstance. I look at a withdrawn or an expired listing as a seller who tried to sell their house, but they couldn't, so they took it back off the market. So I like looking at withdrawn and expired listings almost as a metric to gauge what are sellers and the average agent's expectations compared to what are the expectations that the market requires to get a house sold. And when I see that withdrawn and expired listings are at an all-time high, it tells me that there's a greater number of sellers than ever before who enter into this marketplace without a realistic understanding of what it's going to take to get their house sold.
And I know we get a lot of calls from those withdrawals and expires. So if that's you, if your home is withdrawn or expired or about to, we love working with those withdrawn and expireds and help setting new expectations for them and helping them move on to their, ultimately what they're looking to do. Buy a new home, move to another area. I was listening to a stat over this weekend. It was somewhere around 1.8 million real estate agents across the U.S. had not sold a single listing in the first 7 months of the year. And I think that has to do with there's so many real estate agents that got into where is the easy stage, 2020, 2021, everything was selling. But now, they never learned the right skill sets of how do you price a home correctly? How do you market a home? What kind of support and systems do you need to have behind getting that home sold? A lot of these agents are now kind of unfortunately getting exposed because they don't have the right skill set in this marketplace, which you look to interview Matt Curtis Real Estate. I know you're big on this. We have a list of interview questions. So if you want to interview us and interview other folks as well, we encourage that. We give you a list of interview questions and the answers that we have as well. I know that saved a lot of people because you got a friend's cousin, uncle that just got the real estate license. You may not know what to ask them. If are they going to be part of those 1.8 million that aren't going to sell anything? Or are they going to be like Robert that sells 50 homes a year, or Matt Curtis Real Estate that sells like 2 homes a day? So I think that's a really important thing, because there's a lot of, as you mentioned, there's a lot of disappointed sellers out there in the marketplace right now. So Robert, as we wrap up, what's kind of one piece of advice that you'd give sellers that are looking to sell in this market?
I think if your home has been listed for a short period of time and you get an offer, typically the first offer you get is going to be the best one. I've worked with a number of sellers who wanted to start too high. They wanted to try an ideal number. And then when we had to start making a price adjustment because showing activity was too low and we're playing catch up, they ultimately get an offer from a buyer who's looking at their house. It's been on market for 100 days, sometimes, and the buyer and the seller are just maybe $5,000 or $10,000 apart, maybe 2 or 3% apart on average, and they can't come to an agreement. And sometimes I see sellers passing up an offer over a few $1,000s, when if you look at the bigger picture and the uncertainty in the marketplace moving forward, this year it's definitely been a time, if you want to sell your house, to get in and get out.
Yeah, I think 2024 is an interesting year. Nationally, on average, you see about 5 million homes sold. We saw north of 6 in the 2020-2021 period of time. 2023 was around 4 million. It looks like we're going to be less than that in 2024, maybe like 3.8, 3.9, maybe even below that, depending on what the final numbers do. And so I think people that are looking to sell right now, it's obviously kind of a slower season. Kind of November through February is typically the slower season to sell a home. However, the people that are looking to buy are more serious buyers oftentimes.
That's right.
They're not just out there looking, they're out there buying. But I think people that are looking to sell, I think we're going to be going into some good opportunities, going into after the election. That'll be behind us. And then we also have interest rates that have already fallen and predicted to continue to fall. So I think the remainder of Q4 is going to be a strong market, or a stronger market, and I think 2025 is going to be a really strong market for sellers as well. So if you're looking to sell your home here in Q4 of 2024 or into 2025, we here at Matt Curtis Real Estate and Robert would love to interview with you and earn your business. We'd also love to give you those interview questions to interview other agents out there, because we believe who you hire matters, and the marketing and the admin support that we provide, we believe speaks for itself, as we sell a home really every 12 hours now. So we would love an opportunity to serve you. Please check out our reviews online, and you can give us a call today at 256-333-MOVE.